Okay, so welcome to the first half of what sold in February. And we are going to start with Depop and eBay for this part one. And then part two, I will go to Poshmark and Mercari. So yay, Depop, my first sale finally on Depop. I have been cross posting everything and I have received lots of offers on Depop. I'll even accept the offers and then nothing happens because if you have not sold on Depop before or if you're not familiar with it, buyers there can make an offer. And if somebody says yes, they're not obligated to buy it at that moment, unlike eBay and Poshmark, where you can set that setting. So that is one thing I don't like about Depop is I really do wish if somebody made you an offer and you accepted it, I wish that would put the sale through. But anyway, regardless, this person made me an offer on this dress for $15. This was my cousin's old homecoming dress. It's been sitting in our closet for probably 15 years. And I accepted the offer, not really expecting it to go through, but lo and behold, it did. So, woohoo! First sale on Depop there. So next up was a sale over on eBay, and this was just for some simple gray Champion men's fleece jogger sweatpants. They were in an extra large, and they were in great condition. And these actually sold in 22 days for an offer that was a discount sent that I have set up through Nifty to send a discount when somebody likes an item. And so it sold for $14.50. This cost me probably a little under $2 at the Goodwill bins. So not a huge profit on that one, but still obviously happy to see that one go out the door fairly quickly. Okay, next up was this beautiful silk tie, Stefano Ricci at Harrods, pure silk tie. This is, as you can see here, that says pure silk. It was made in Italy, and this tie actually stayed in Colorado. I sent it up to Aspen and did get a nice comment back from the buyer that he loved the tie and was wearing it the day that it came in. And let's see, this was listed for 24 days and it sold for an offer for $55. And I actually found this tie and purchased this tie up in Fort Collins at, I think it's called a rag shop. And so it was similar pricing to the Goodwill bins, about $2 a pound. And so this tie probably cost me less than $1, but it was just in beautiful condition. And I was really happy to see that find a new home. Next up, we have this Vera Bradley tote bag. I also found this at the Goodwill bins, and I did have to hand wash it, but it was really in pretty good condition, but I wanted it to be in perfect condition for my buyers. And this was on the market for less than 3 weeks, and it sold for the full asking price of $33. And that probably only cost me $2 at the bin. So I'm thrilled that that went to a new home. Okay, these are two Spanx items. They were the same size. They were actually both 3X, so plus size. I found them also at the Fort Collins. Like I said, I think it's called a rag shop. It's a recycling center. And one of them was missing the tag. But again, they were the same size, but they were different models. And so I thought they would be really good to pair together. Somebody would get two different compression offerings in the same size. So I put them together, and let's see, I got this on an offer for $40.48. And these probably, again, were very lightweight, cost me around $2, and they were only listed for 28 days. Next, we have this Daniel Bishop. This was a 100% cashmere vintage hoodie zip up, and it was a beautiful dark chocolate brown color. Now I have to say I did have to spend a good deal of time sweater shaving this with I have three sweater shavers, and but it really was totally worth it and a beautiful, beautiful piece. This actually was listed for 22 days. This cost me about $2 at the bins and sold for $55 that I took an offer on. All right, next up we have this Patagonia. You always know that you got to grab the Patagonia. I got this at the Goodwill bins, and I also did have to do quite a bit of sweater shaving on this Patagonia, but it's just classic. You pick it up. It did have, right here, you can see it did have this embroidery on the sleeve, but I had researched that that wasn't going to change the value of the item. And so this was listed for only 14 days and it sold for $29.99, the full price offer. And this probably cost me maybe $2 at the Goodwill bins. All right, next we have another couple items that were similar, so I decided to go ahead and bundle them. So these are both J. Crew Jackie cardigan sweaters. One was a small and one was an extra small, but they were very, very close in size still. And I decided to bundle them because I had purchased these actually at an estate sale. And so they were clearly owned by the same lady. So I thought for sure the sizing, whoever purchased this would think that the sizing was appropriate. But I did figure that these would go great together. And I did take an offer for $22. They actually sold the day that I listed them. And I was a little bit nervous about them even selling again in the first place because they were different sizes. So I went ahead that very first day I listed them. I went ahead and accepted the offer. Even though I had listed it at $34, I thought, gosh, I'm just going to take that $22 offer because it would be great. And honestly, these cost me pennies. I got so many clothes from this estate sale for such a good price. I'll go ahead and say I paid $1 for the both of them together, but it might have been even less than that. So that was a great sale. All right, on to my biggest sale of the month. And this one was a very risky purchase. This was something that I purchased when we very first decided that we were going to start reselling because I had watched probably a YouTube video on somebody talking about these towing parts and pieces and how they're great sellers and that you can go onto Marketplace and get these for a low price and then resell them for so much more. And since we have experience as a family towing behind an RV, I did know that, you know, gosh, these are things when somebody needs them, they need them. And I know that we had purchased our tow package off of somebody else as well. Like it's not something that people love to buy new because they are very, very, very expensive. And so I actually found this on Facebook Marketplace here near me, just down the road from me actually. And my husband went and picked it up. We paid $200 for it, but I had researched that this sold for over $1,000 brand new. And I also had it listed on Facebook Marketplace for quite a while. And I was thinking it was going to sell back on Facebook Marketplace maybe and not eBay just because it was so heavy. But I was nervous that I made a really bad purchase paying $200 for this because we had a lot of interest, but no buyers. And oh my gosh, I was so excited when the order came through. It wasn't even an offer. They just paid. I had my Nifty sends out automatic offers. And so this person accepted the automatic offer from Nifty. So this actually sold for $354. And oh my gosh, this was so heavy to ship. It was 70 pounds. My husband had to reinforce the box with wood and make sure that it was going to make it. It had to go UPS. And I did have to pay extra I paid extra insurance and I paid extra for it being so heavy. And nonetheless, I'm really glad that that was finally sold and that we did make over a $100 profit on that. And let's see how long that was listed. That was listed for 58 days. So almost 2 months. I was getting nervous. That was a very expensive purchase. Next up, we have these crazy yoga pants. I did pick these up at the bins and I decided to grab them because they were new with tag, a size medium. So I thought, okay, if they don't sell, then myself or my daughter can wear them. But they actually sold in 19 days for $18. That was an offer I received on eBay and I went ahead and took it. And that was a great sale. Okay, here is one from my closet. So I knew that this was vintage. I have had this tank for a very long time. This is from New York & Company. And it is hard. It was hard to showcase in the pictures. And I think that this made it sit a little bit longer. I actually eventually did go back and lighten up this first picture so you could see some of the lace detail. But this is a baby doll style tank top. And I definitely purchased it either in the 90s or maybe even 2000, 2001. And this was something from my closet, so no cost. But this sold for $18. It was listed for 63 days. But again, I'm happy to see it go to a new home. All right, here was another find from the Goodwill bins. Always excited to find snowboarding gear. I am in Colorado, so that's not surprising to find, but Burton is definitely a top snowboarding jacket brand. And I actually have to give credit to my son. He found this and brought it over to me and thought it would be a good seller. And he was right. I did lower the price on this. I had started it at a little bit higher price, I think $85 or $90. I did lower the price after about a week, and this was only on the market for 14 days. It sold for $70. And again, I purchased it. The bins, it is a little bit heavier, so it probably cost me $4 or $5. Okay, you may have seen this particular item on one of our hauls show, our bins haul show, Battle of the Bins, actually, when my husband and I went together. And this is a Victoria's Secret satin lace slip dress nightgown. It's in a beautiful emerald green. So this actually sold for the full price of $28.99, and it was listed for 18 days. Cost maybe $1 at the bins. Very lightweight. I love finding lingerie type items that are going to cost me $1 or less, and this sold quite quickly. Next, we have something that I listed when I very first started listing. You can tell by the pictures. Look at how terrible these pictures are. So this is a dress by Betsy Adams. It is actually the dress that I wore to be my sister's maid of honor in her wedding a couple years ago. And it's just really not my color. I was going to keep it for just sentimental reasons, but I decided that I probably would never wear it again. It's not really my color, but it is a beautiful dress. And I did have this listed for quite a while, 64 days. And it sold for an offer for $54. I went ahead and took that offer from the buyer, and I hope that she loves it because it really is a beautiful dress. Okay, here is another great lightweight find from the bins. This scarf, I had seen that little Oscar right there sticking out, and I figured I would look into it, and sure enough, it is Oscar de la Renta. It's a pure silk oblong scarf, and it was just in a really pretty color pattern too. And so let's see, this was listed for less than 3 weeks. I went ahead and sold it for an offer of $32, and that was quite a good purchase for me since it probably cost me 25 cents at the Goodwill bins. Okay, I shared this on one of my haul videos as well. This is something I just recently got at the Goodwill bins, and this was a one size dress. And actually, when I had found the piece of fabric, I'm like, is this a blanket? Like, what is this? It looked very square, very rectangle, but I could tell that the fabric was cotton. And when I looked at it closely, it was organic cotton, which is always something that I would like to research a little bit more. So I went ahead and grabbed that, made in India. It had this cool tie at the waist that allowed the dress to cinch in, again, making it a one size, but it did cinch in at the waist because of that tie. And it really just is a beautiful dress. I can't remember if it was around $200 when it was brand new, but it was definitely something that was a higher priced item. And this went to a buyer actually in Hawaii. And this was on eBay for just 2 days. And I had put a special sale up, I think, for a couple days, and somebody grabbed it at the sale price of $64.40. And again, I only paid probably $2 for this at the bin, so it was a great profit for me for sure. Next up, we have these jeans, and I actually purchased these jeans off of Poshmark, and I was trying to actually get my Posh status up. I think I'm a Posh ambassador or something like that. And in order to be a Posh ambassador, you also have to be a Posh customer. And I had never purchased anything on Poshmark. So I went ahead and did some shopping, and I bought a bundle from somebody, and that included these jeans right here. And I thought that I would like them for myself, but they ended up not fitting. So I thought, no problem, I will put them back up for sale. But the good news is I had purchased them for $16 on Poshmark, and I resold them on an offer for $31.50. So not a huge profit there, but still I made money, and they were only listed for 36 days. This was another quick sale, and I'm sure you can guess why. Yep, these are Carhartt. These were new without tag, brand new Carhartt. They had the double front right there, double front fabric on the leg. And I went ahead and listed these after purchasing them from a Whatnot show. I think it ended up, I figured out because it was quite a scandal with the shipping from this Whatnot seller. I think she was brand new and I was brand new to buying and she was brand new to selling. And I think she was charging too much in shipping. It's supposed to be the more you buy, then it goes down in price. But I was paying a lot in shipping for every single item. So I'm not sure what happened. But needless to say, these ended up costing me probably around $9. And they sold for $40.49. I had a coupon going, so somebody got 10% off and used that coupon, and they sold in just 2 days. So that was another really good fast turnaround. All right, here we have a sweater that was something that I purchased at a Goodwill store. It was either Goodwill or an ARC. Let's see. It's Goodwill. Okay, I'm checking my notes. I purchased this at a Goodwill, and what caught my attention is the tapestry type fabric and the fact that it was wool. And as I was brand new at learning how to buy, those were stacked things that I thought would make this a really good buy. It was in really good condition. It was something that I could definitely see myself wearing, but you can see here, the pictures were not very good. I think maybe I did eventually go back. Yes, I did. Okay. As you can see here, when I very first started listing, I was just hanging things up on this rack and taking pictures of them. And then when this wasn't selling, I was realizing, okay, maybe I should go ahead and put this on the mannequin. And so needless to say, this sat a little bit longer than I thought it would. And I do think I lowered the price from what I originally had it set as, but this was listed for 70 days, still not terrible, but for a newbie, you're kind of anxious for these things to start selling. And this sold for $44.55. I think this was another item that was purchased on a coupon day that I had put out. And this also, I did end up also paying promoted fees on eBay for this. And so that did take away a little bit from the profit. But I am pleased to say that most of these items that I sold, I did not have promoted listings on, but I am starting to turn those on just to see if I see a difference. And this is one of the items that I did end up paying that fee. The fee was $5.87 on top of the other eBay fees. Okay, and to close out the month on eBay, I don't know if it was the Olympics or what, the excitement of the Olympics, but I sold this Adidas USA Golf Polo with the USA emblem on it. Now, this was really nice. You could tell that this was a nice performance athletic polo. This was listed for 32 days. I was nervous that I was even going to sell it at all because it actually did have, and you can see under condition, I put here that some areas show a subtle pink tint under certain lighting. And you can kind of see the sleeves. I'm just assuming like down here, you couldn't really see it, but you can kind of see it right there in the sleeves. Just a slight pinkish to it. And I didn't notice when I picked it up at the bins, but I definitely noticed it when I took it home. I tried to do a white wash on it and it didn't really change the color. So I just ran it through my regular wash after letting it soak and went ahead and just thought, okay, I'll just list it and see if it goes, and I'll keep lowering the price as needed. But it actually sold for an offer of $23.92. It was a promoted listing, so I did pay about $4 in the promotion, but it only cost me about $2 at the bin, so it was still a really great sale. All right, last but not least, this sold on the last day of February. This is an Athleta ribbed racerback tank top. It's got that really nice built-in shelf bra. And I tried to get some good pictures of, there it is, good pictures of the shelf bra on the inside, but you could tell that this was a great athletic tank. It was in a size medium. It was on eBay for 29 days. It sold for $18, and this was a promoted listing as well. You can tell when I turned on the promotion that they're all turning into promoted listings. So it's hard to know if that's helping things sell or not, but that did add $2 to my fees. But again, this was something I found at the bins. This probably cost me maybe $1 because it's so lightweight. And so that was still a pretty good profit for me. And that is it. That is it for February eBay, and of course my one Depop sale. I'm quite pleased at how things are going. I'm definitely learning as we go and hope to have March be the best month yet. If you've made it this far, would you please hit that subscribe button? I'd really appreciate it. And be sure to check out part 2 to find out what sold on Poshmark and Mercari in February.